Hello YouTubers, RogueMonkeyJr here bringing you the Weapon Crate update patch notes. So today, if you don't know, there's a new update that dropped. It's called the Weapon Crate update, and it is required to sign into Battlefield 1, so if you haven't updated it already, be sure to do so as you will not be able to play Battlefield 1. So in today's video, we're going to be covering the patch notes for this update. Now, the most notable thing is the addition of 9 new weapons and 2 lethal melee weapons. So without further ado, let's get stuck right into this. So 11 new weapons are dropping in this update. Undoubtedly, the prize of the pack is the Annihilator Trench. The rest of the guns are the new variants on weapons that previously only had one configuration. So the most notable one, as they said, is the Thompson Annihilator Trench, and keep your eyes peeled for a review of the weapon on my channel coming up during the week. There's also been the Sjogren Inertial Slug added, the Riberol's 1918 Optical, the Machine and Pistol M1912 P16 Experimental, the M1917 Patrol Carbine, the Type 38 Arasaka Patrol, the Carcano M91 Patrol Carbine, the Ross MK3 Infantry, the M1917 Enfield Silence, which was one of the weapons that a lot of people were waiting for, and as for the 2 melee weapons that were added, it is the Welsh Blade melee weapon and the Sickle melee weapon. Moving on to the new sniper rifle sweet spot communication. Now this is something that was tested on the CTE last week or the week before, and I'm not really fond of this change, but anyways, that's a discussion for another day. So most scout rifles have an optimal distance where they are the most effective at combat, also known as the sweet spot. So Battlefield 1 rifles have been operating under these rules since the launch of the game. Each rifle's sweet spot can be reviewed from a graph under customization, but it was never clearly communicated to the player in-game until now. We've improved how the game communicates when a scout soldier is in the sweet spot for both the shooter and their opponents. For the scout soldier, when active, default is off, scopes will contain depth of field in the target area. If you don't know what that means, I made a video on it the other day. There'll be a card up in the top right hand corner if you want to go watch that. It is a pretty rough explanation of what the depth of field does. Anything outside the shooter's sweet spot will appear out of focus. Anything inside the shooter's sweet spot will be in focus. Holding breath will expand the focus range and allow the shooter to see everything in their field of view more clearly. Depth of field is applied to the following sniper packages: Marksman, Patrol, and Sniper. The Gavir M95 Marksman and Carcano M91 Patrol Carbine will have depth of field applied even though they do not have a sweet spot. Don't really know why that is, but I digress. Let's continue. For the opponent, opponents inside a sniper's sweet spot will see a rainbow lens flare. Marksman and Patrol scopes now have scope glints. Not too sure about this one, considering that these scopes provide sufficient magnifying power for ranged engagements. Adding glints provides scout opponents a better chance to survive the encounter. The M95 Marksman and Carcano M91 Patrol Carbine will use standard glint across all ranges due to their lack of a sweet spot. Iron sights and lens sights will not have scope glints. Their magnifying power is low enough that players should be able to identify potential shooters without the assistance of glint. So there's a table in the full patch notes that you can review to see all of the sweet spots and the depth of field and the glint type. As always, there'll be a link to all the patch notes in the description down below. So moving on to performance, fixed an occasional crash when players were equipping a pistol in one of the war stories, improved frame rate spikes when deploying in Passchendaele, maps and game modes reduced undergrowth flicker in River Somme and Caporetto, fixed an improperly configured forward tank spawn on Amiens and Conquest. There should now be 2 tanks consistently for both teams, one of which can utilize forward spawning. Operation Devil's Anvil maximum rating is now set to 18. Operation Oil of Empire's maximum rating is now set to 36. There are a few other points which I don't really want to go over. They're not that important, but you can always go check out the patch notes for yourself. User interface / user experience. Fixed an issue where operations occasionally appeared locked to premium pass owners. Fixed an issue where the airship L30 Behemoth would display incorrect faction insignia. Fixed player name alignment on dog tags when playing with the Arabic language setting. Added a heat and cooldown meter for the flamethrower in the HUD. Weapons and vehicles increased the damage of stationary AA guns in the single-player war stories. fixed an issue where tank hunter attack plane shells would detonate when hitting the pilot of a plane, causing the shell to do extra damage. Shells will now pass through the pilot if they hit another part of the plane first. Aligned the SMG 0818 muzzle flash for left and right recoil muzzles, lengthened the reload time of HE cluster bombs on the Ilya Muromets, and distributed them more evenly in the payload. Fixed an issue where the hatches of the C-class airship would sometimes fail to animate properly when a player rapidly switched between positions in the vehicle. Player journey / unlocks added a new weapon assignment for the Annihilator Trench and Sickle melee weapon. 10 new soldier ranks added new service stars for the new weapons. Fixed an issue where players could skip earning class rank dog tags when leveling up more than one rank at a time. Players who experience this issue will receive their missing dog tags the next time they level up. So that is it for this weapon crate update. Obviously the most important part of the update was the new weapon variants and new weapons. Let me know in the comments down below which weapon or weapon variant you were most excited for. I know a lot of people are probably very excited for the Thompson Annihilator Trench. While you're down there, be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I release Battlefield and first-person shooter-related videos pretty much every day. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.